Ever wondered why Zara, a household name in fast fashion, successfully expanded its global market share? Why Nokia lost its market share to Apple and Samsung? And how come Amazon successfully expanded its market share and became a giant in distribution logistics network? And why Target, despite its rapid expansion in Canada, failed? This is because of their global supply chain strategies. Now, look at your mobile phone, the coffee you drink, the chocolate you eat, or the garments you wear. So, for instance, when you look at the shirt you are wearing, the cotton is grown in, for instance, in India or Pakistan or Egypt, might spun in Vietnam or dyed in Bangladesh or stitched in China or Cambodia or Mexico and sold in Canada, US, or other parts of the world. So, this is all global supply chain. Global supply chain go through 5 important steps, which involve planning, sourcing, making, delivering, and returning. Planning involves forecasting demand across regions and time zones, whereas sourcing means choosing suppliers in other countries. Often, you might have got the cheapest or best skilled supplier, not the closest one. Whereas making involves manufacturing in one country and assembling in another. Delivering involves moving through customs, ports, international carriers, right? And returning means handling repairs, recycling, or recalls across borders. And this is often the hardest step of all. Now, the question arises here, what makes a supply chain global? A global supply chain is a network of suppliers, OEMs, transporters, customers who are located in different parts of the world, right? Now, when you compare this with domestic supply chain, in domestic supply chain, generally you are dealing with a single currency, whereas in global supply chain, you have to deal with multiple currencies. Possibly, you're exposed to exchange rate risk. In domestic supply chain, you have got single set of law, whereas in global supply chain, you need to deal with different set of laws, tariffs, different custom regulations, and trade agreements. In domestic supply chain, the mode of transportation is mainly through the land. I mean, you might use trucking services or railway networks. Whereas when it comes to global supply chain, you possibly use ocean transportation or air transportation, where especially for ocean transportation, the transit time could be based on weeks or months. Now, in domestic supply chain, generally political risk is minimum. Whereas when you're exposed to global supply chain, the political risk is comparatively higher, right? Because of the sanctions or shifting trade policies, or one part of the world where your supply is located could be exposed to war, right? So global supply chain has got its own implications, right? Now, there are 3 important things which move global supply chain: goods, information, and money. Goods, I mean, the items, cargo crosses the borders, not just city limits. Information is shared across different time zones, spoken in different languages, and goes through different customs paperwork. When it comes to money, I mean, the payment might be converted in different currencies and might be exposed to currency risk. For instance, from goods perspective, look at a car. A car seat frame is stamped in Michigan, USA, crosses through Ambassador Bridge multiple times, right? The car components, crosses the Canadian and US border around 8 times before being finalized, right? You can see this how goods are going crossing different borders. Whereas when information is concerned, you must satisfy the paperwork required by both countries. And when it comes to money, the order might be placed in US dollar and could be paid in Canadian dollar, right? So for instance, look at the port of Vancouver, right? Which handles, this is one of the busiest port in Canada, right? So it handles grain exports, crude oil, potash, right? Somewhere in global supply chain, there need to be a very well coordinated operations at Vancouver port, logistics companies, exporters, importers, Canadian railway network, right? And vessel operators, right? Now we try to talk about challenges to global supply chain. When you go global, you are exposed to different types of risk and challenges, right? For instance, you might be exposed to material shortage. Some of you have heard about there's a massive shortage of copper or rare earth minerals because some countries have got monopoly over these minerals, or there's a shortage of copper because of the high demand of AI data centers and fast expansion of electric vehicles market, right? So it is required in its manufacturing, right? Another type of challenge or risk could be associated with trade and tariffs. US tariffs have, impacted Canadian steel, aluminum, lumber, and cars. Other types of challenges include shipping delays. You must have heard about the tension across the Strait of Hormuz. You must have heard about the congestion at Suez Canal a couple of years back and how it impacted the global supply chain network. Cybersecurity is another challenge. Attack on your digital network could be a catastrophe for the whole organization, its supply chain network. A classical example could be of Musk, a Danish global giant. So Musk logistics company in 2017, it was cyber attacked for ransom, and it costed Musk around 300 million to restore its operations, right? So cybersecurity is one of the, I would say, biggest challenges when you go global. It also, there, even if you are a domestic supply chain network, but you're exposed more when you go global. Another type of challenge is climate risks. Storms would halt operation at different ports, might cause delays. Climate regulations, right, could complicate your operations. Wildfires might pose severe threat to your logistics network, right? So when it comes to, let's say, for instance, trade and tariffs, you all know that Alberta's economy generally run heavily on exports of energy, chemicals, machinery, and agricultural products, especially to USA. And due to US tariffs, Alberta government did not wait and started exploring Asian markets for energy products and trying to find customers for its agricultural products. So because of trade and tariff issues, the whole economy might suffer, let alone your global supply chain. Now, when it comes to conclusion, remember that a modern supply chain is not that which never gets disrupted. I would say an exceptional global supply chain is one that can absorb the shocks, which could show the resilience and recover quickly. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this short overview of implications and risk associated with global supply chain. Thank you.